The Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast.
Coming to you out of SideQuest Studios, this is The Simpsons Index, episode 307. Hello, everybody out there. I'm your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, joined here as always, except when he's not, by BT Calloway.
Ahoy hoy, but in movie aspect ratio.
Ooh, extra wide
Dolby
BT.
surround.
Great, now I'm going to have to edit in like you in pen in 5.1 and
I was going to do that.
and returning champion, David Molloy.
Yo.
And first-time guest, Alexei Toliopoulos.
Greetings, hello, and happy to be here.
Oh, that's
Just
wonderful.
turns on, so...
Yes, I'm on. I'm a pro. I'm a professional. The mic is on, so am I.
Was struggling to get a word out of him in the pre-banter, but now here he is.
That's it. I light up. I save the energy. I store it, and now I expel.
That's a professional.
Well, thank you for expelling yourself onto the Simpsons Index. Of course, we review Simpsons, and finally, after a almost decade doing this podcast, we're finally doing the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everybody
Wow.
out there, you can shut up now. We're doing it.
Shut your ass!
I mean, how long into the Simpsons tenure was the movie?
17
nearly 20
years.
years. Yeah.
17 years. My gosh.
Yeah, so we're like beating it by, 8 years.
Exactly. Like, yeah, we're ahead of schedule.
Exactly.
So fuck y'all.
The shut your yaps.
Yeah, we haven't been slouching. We've reviewed 750 of the fucking episodes in the meantime.
How many episodes are there of The Simpsons now?
Currently about 780 or something. And
wow.
they've been reviewed for 4 more seasons.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Good on them.
Is
Good on them. It's hard to get something up on TV these days.
Yeah, Dan Castellaneta's really been struggling.
Oh, good on him.
Well, just on that, Alexei, what is your experience with The Simpsons, the show? Are you much of a Simpsons fan? Where did the show begin with you? What is your Simpsons history?
My Simpson history, I have seen some of the show. Have seen the movie prior to yesterday as well. I liked The Simpsons growing up. I watched it on Channel 10. I'm sure this is a familiar story for people on this podcast. Channel 10, I watched it in between Neighbours and Seinfeld, I think. And I would have seen a few of the early seasons, but I have no... Like, it's not part of my story, you know? Like, I would, if I was writing a memoir, there would be The Simpsons would not pop up once. Like, you couldn't Command F and find, like, Professor Freak written down or something like that. But I liked it. And I there's a few episodes that, like, stay in my mind. I love the Dustin Hoffman episode. My favorite voice actor, Michael Jackson, appears in it a couple of times. Like, I remember those.
I've never heard of that episode. I don't see it on Disney Plus.
We just got a memo from Disney that said, no, you don't.
But it's just I was more Futurama guy. I loved Futurama.
You love Futurama.
Yeah, so I've seen it. I know the names of characters. I played video games.
Yeah.
The Crazy Taxi.
Simpsons Hit and Run, baby.
Hit and Run, loved that. I loved Road Rage, the Grand Theft Auto Simpsons game as well.
Yeah. Classics.
When I say I loved them, I guess
I played
I was
them.
entertained
You
by
enjoyed
them.
them.
Like I felt
I existed in the same room.
I felt positive experiences while playing them, but I don't really remember them that much. The Crazy Taxi one I played the absolute living shit out of them.
Yeah, right.
Played it heaps.
Oh, it's a good game engine. I can see why they stole it and then
so-
got sued by Crazy Taxi for
Good
stealing
game
it.
engine is such an underhanded insult to the game.
Well, because it's
Wow,
a
the
nicer
engine's real
world
nice.
to explore than whatever the Crazy Taxi Town is.
Yeah.
Which I think is shit San Francisco or something
Yeah.
to my memory. But, it's nice to drive around Springfield, pick up the residents, drop them off, get Reverend Lovejoy and drop him off at church, etc., etc. I enjoy that.
That's it. HD remake when?
I think it would be a wonderful HD remake. I would probably purchase it.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen The Simpsons at all. Like, even, like, I don't know the last time I would have watched a full episode.
Yeah,
Maybe
well, that's
since I was 14 or 13.
Wow.
Or
Oh,
something.
wow.
Yeah.
Because, that's the follow-up question. Have you watched anything from the new era?
Yes.
Oh.
Yesterday, after I watched the movie in preparation for this podcast, did my homework, I watched, I would say, the least cool piece of media I've seen
Wow.
in my
I'm so
entire
curious.
life. I watched this Simpsons short that like auto played
Oh,
after.
Alex.
It was Billie Eilish and Lisa.
Yeah.
doing something to, and it was like, this is the lamest thing I've ever seen in my life. Who is this for? Because kids like Billie Eilish, or when I say kids, I mean people that are like 15 years younger than me or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, so what? They don't know The Simpsons. Is this to try and introduce them to The Simpsons or something? So I was just like,
I like Billie Eilish, and on paper, I don't like that idea.
it sucked.
Yeah.
Asshole. It was so bad.
It's literally just, hey, look who we got.
It is. And apparently it was nominated for an Emmy.
Fuck
Did
off.
they watch it,
Jesus
or they just go,
Christ.
wow, let's give it a little something, a little love to The Simpsons for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Graining will have us killed if we don't.
But yeah, so you've seen it, BT?
Yeah.
And what do you reckon? It's the worst thing ever as well?
I mean, there are more Simpsons shorts, and we have decided we're not reviewing them.
Wow. Surely there can't be one worse than
Like,
that, though.
I don't know, but part of me does want to find out.
God,
Yeah,
please.
because-
If not you, who? You
Yeah.
guys
You know
have
what?
to sacrifice
You're
yourself.
somewhat convincing me to at least do this solo and bring a report to Elliot.
Yeah, please. They're only like 4 minutes long as
I
well.
know, but
I
they're
know, but it's
torturous
still-
4 minutes.
Yeah.
It was so awful. Like, it really was one of the, like, I can really only describe it as one of the least cool things I've ever seen.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that's not being made for any kind of joy. It's just filling out a tax form, basically.
Just like we go, okay, we got this opportunity. I guess
Yeah.
we have to do something for this.
This will
Yeah.
be great for our optics on TikTok,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
kind of
And
thing.
it's 4 minutes in, the sort of like conventional clock time. It's not considering the actual sort of like fourth dimensional existential
Yeah,
nightmare
exactly.
you find
what,
yourself
are we,
in.
what are we doing?
I'm
here?
looking at the
But even-
timer here. I think we just clocked a few extra minutes talking
Yeah,
about
but
And it's
this.
like, imagine not just the 4 minutes, but the minutes of your life that stretch on with that
Yeah.
in your mind.
Exactly. That gets replayed. It's like even in 4 minutes, the plot loses itself, which is bizarre.
But I guess it did save me time. Like, because
Yeah.
I would say after rewatching the Simpsons movie, I was Simpsons curious again, go like, maybe I could go even watch old episodes. And then that playing after, go, that was a mercy killing. I don't need I don't need to entertain watching Simpsons again. I was like, that's okay.
At
I
least
also
it was
like-
efficient.
I
Yeah.
also like Simpsons curious as like an identity. Well, I'm not into the show, but I'm Simpsons curious.
Curious.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what we're aiming to do. We're digging through the crap of the
Yeah.
new era, and
We're finding those ones who are Simpsons curious, who are just like,
yeah,
Like, I
what
don't know, give
about
me
me?
3 Prosecco's deep and we'll see what happens.
just the yellow flag. Yeah.
Well, how about you, David? We turn to our returning champions and ask, since the last time you were on the Simpsons Index, have you been Simpsons curious? Have you checked
Christ,
out?
no.
I love
Not
this
even-
far
No,
in, we now have a term for it.
But it is that thing of
I
like,
know.
it is that thing of like, my sort of friend group are very like, deeply into old Simpsons. And it's the kind of thing where I will never like, as an activity in my own life, sit down and go and watch an old episode of The Simpsons. But so much of it is just deeply embedded that there's always some like throwaway quote or reference that just finds its way into like everyday conversation. But in terms of like my own sort of seeking out of it, then no, largely not.
It is
I
a
definitely to sort of speak to what Alexei was saying. I definitely go back and rewatch Futurama because I also had that kind of like connection with that just as more of a crazy genre thing. But
That's
also,
for me too.
I also wouldn't touch new Futurama by the same
I
metric.
haven't watched. I watched some of the new Futurama. I quite liked it, but it
Okay.
was also like when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. I watched an episode of Futurama every single day of being a
I
teenager.
can believe that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I had the DVD box set. I've seen the commentaries for each episode. A minimum 5 times is my guess.
Yeah.
With commentaries. Don't know how many times I've seen it without commentary.
Oh, sure.
But
Oh,
commentary, I would say I went through the whole series at least 5 times.
Yeah.
Damn.
They were great commentaries.
they
Like
were
a lot of
great.
people talk up the Simpsons commentaries, the Futurama ones. Like there's such a great energy in those
Yeah.
sessions.
And in terms of like, the Simpsons commentaries, like asking Julie Kavanagh to speak on behalf of this thing anymore is a war crime. Like you can't keep doing this to this woman.
And what
Oh,
about
well-
Disenchanted?
What
You like
about
that?
it?
Have you
Yeah.
guys seen it?
It was season 1 was okay.
What about season 2?
It's fine.
Is there one?
It was-
yeah, there is. It didn't
Is
really
there?
bother. Yeah.
There's like a season 4. I don't know.
No, there's not. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
I think
I
went.
still haven't finished it yet.
Wow. I watched season 1.
Yeah, it was okay.
I don't remember it.
It was
but
fine.
I think
Look,
it was
we've-
cute.
We've had the listeners been demanding we do the movie. No one's calling for us to do a disenchantment index.
I thought you meant Disenchanted movie, and I was
The
like,
Dis-
that
Yeah.
Coming
is
live action.
Well, actually, yeah. Just quickly, what'd you think of the Futurama movies?
Oh, yes. I never think of them as movies.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They're
but
kind of direct-to-DVD
I like them.
specials.
I
yeah.
like them. I like them a lot.
Movies in the way that Return to Jafar is a movie. Return not Jafar, sorry.
Excellent. No. Well, speaking of Return to Jafar, this isn't only an episode of the Simpsons Index, but this is also an episode of our other podcast starring
Are
Springfield.
we crossing over with ourselves?
Yeah,
We've
boy.
crossed the streams, Elliot.
See, Alexei, yeah, our other podcast, we're reviewing movies that star the cast of The Simpsons.
Yeah, and little smartasses keep because you can recommend what movie we watch on patreon.com/SideQuestStudios. Little smartasses keep going, what about the Simpsons
And now,
movie?
are you happy? You got what you wanted.
It's like,
a
yeah.
second podcast has hit the stream.
Congratulations. You know who you are, you Patreon smartasses who I love deeply.
Yeah. So, yeah, Alexei, do you have any favorite movies that star the cast of The Simpsons besides Return of Jafar, of
Yeah,
course?
Return of Jafar is a pretty good one. For Hank Azaria, I would say Along Came Polly. I think he's so
That's come up a
funny
few
in that
times.
movie.
Yeah, we haven't
I
reviewed that
got
one yet.
I got stood up to that movie.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
My gosh. I
Savage.
Yeah.
love Along Came Polly. I
It
think
was
it's
like
really funny.
one of the first sort of like movie dates I was going on with my girlfriend when I was 16, and she stood me up. And so very apologetically, she was like, you can pick the next movie that we go to. And I was being a bitter little bitch.
Wow.
So the next movie that we went to was The Manchurian Candidate.
Wow. Good movie as well.
It was good, actually.
I wonder if there's a Simpsons actor in that. There might be.
Who knows?
But I
You
would
just got to say the trigger word.
I would say I love Julie Kavner and the Julie Kavner movies. This Is My Life.
Yeah.
I
Covered that
think
one.
that's great, and she's fantastic in it. And then also a little shout out to she's in the Woody Allen short in New York Stories, and I think that's a magnificent performance. Like really funny. That's such a great short film.
Your other favorite Simpsons adjacent person, Woody Allen.
Is he in Simpson?
Yeah, I think so.
Parodies
No,
off.
but actually one of the guest stars that was cut from the Simpsons movie was Edward Norton doing a Woody Allen impression.
Oh, really?
He was meant to be that indecisive guy that got crushed by the dome because he didn't, but they decided because of the Woody Allen of it all that they retooled that character.
Wow.
Fair, but cut Edward Norton, come on.
Yeah.
But no, I fully agree about Julie Kavner, and to bring it back to Woody Allen, she was great in Radio Days.
Yeah.
She's so good at that like assertive mother character that and I hated Click, but she was one of the bright spots playing Adam Sandler's mum in that.
Yeah, Click will make you cry whether you like it or not, you know?
Get ready for feelings with Adam Sandler.
But yeah, just seeing her and Henry Winkler hooking up. Oh my god.
Yeah. Every
Worlds
boy's
colliding.
dream.
The Marge and the Fonz together at last.
Art.
Yeah, so we are doing a dual release for these podcasts, and yes, so thank you for doing 2 podcasts at once.
Oh, my pleasure. Anything to be efficient.
Well, yeah, let's efficiently get into this one. We are reviewing The Simpsons Movie. First released in July of 2007, it was directed by David Silverman, written by James L. Brooks, Matt Groening, Al Jean, me and Max Tone Graham, George Meyer, David Merkin, Mike Reese, Mike Scully, Matt Selman, John Vitti, and John Swartzwelder.
Jesus Christ.
So this was the last John Swartzwelder thing for The Simpsons. His last penned episode was that fucking Simpsons Go to England episode, but this is the last thing he was involved with The Simpsons. Before he became a novelist of the Time Machine Did It franchise.
Oh, wow.
Okay, there you go.
Great.
My favorite franchise. No, is that so? Wow. Are they funny?
I've only read the first one, but I really liked it.
Okay.
It's very Swartzweldian humor, and like the lead detective in it is basically Homer, and it's a really fun time.
Okay, that sounds fun.
But BT, what just happened?
Wow, way to draw. Okay, so Homer pollutes a lake, and then the EPA's all like, hey, we're going to seal this place off. But of course, there's a whole lot of lead up I just missed. Grandpa, okay, first of all, Grandpa is a conduit through which God speaks. Who gives them all this grave warning of Eepa, Eepa. Meanwhile, Lisa may have met a new boy in her life, who's Irish and musically inclined, but not the son of Bono. This is all we know about him. Meanwhile, Bart is losing some respect for Homer because he's seeing how good of a father Flanders is, and Homer just challenges him to skateboard naked through the town to Krusty Burger and back, which admittedly he fails because he doesn't get back. Anyway.
Didn't think of that.
Yeah, I just thought of it then. But no, then we get
Taking
covered
away
by
his PS achievement trophy.
Exactly. But no, so then the town gets covered by a dome, but the Simpsons escape. What will they do? Will they go back and free their friends, or let them all perish and live a new life in Alaska? I mean, the show went for another 28 years, so you can probably guess.
28 years so far.
Hey, we get one iconic meme, and Spider-Pig took over the internet briefly.
I was going to say that the only things that I remembered from the film prior to rewatching it were, because I remember seeing it in the cinemas, but the only things I remember were 2 dick jokes and Spider-Pig, and that's it.
Art's Pecker is emblazoned in the minds of anyone that ever saw that film.
I was wondering how long it would take to come up, and 16 minutes.
Welcome to Bart's Dick Index.
I genuinely, vividly remember seeing it in the cinema. Like, I remember where I was placed in the cinema, who I was with, the feeling of the people around me, the reaction. It was Palace Cinema in Norton Street.
Oh, yeah.
And it
classic.
was, I saw with my friends and my friend's little brother as well. We took my friend's little brother with us.
How old are you at the time?
15, I think, 15. And, old enough to see that Pecker. And but it was just like, it was just everyone looking around each other. It was an actual reaction from the crowd in the audience.
Yeah.
I feel like, I know we're 9 years in, but let's add that to the questionnaire. Where were you when you saw Little Barty Boy's Little Barty Boy?
Yeah, well, because the other week we had Joel Dusha and Jackson on the podcast, and
my buddies.
Yeah, beautiful Sans Pants boys.
Yep.
And they got into a whole thing where it was earth shattering for them.
Yeah.
It was a pivotal life moment. The world changed when they revealed Little Barty Boy.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing it again yesterday because like you said, earth shattering. At the time, it was that. I go, whoa,
The Simpsons went there.
I can't believe it. And then yesterday, go, wow, I just didn't do anything. It just didn't. But
at the time, it did feel actually earth shaking.
And it's funny because it's a gentle gag. It's not like, and here we go, it's a punchline. It's just like a build up to it.
Classic flip of the conventionally placed things that will prevent the nudity. So
which they've done a lot in the show.
I was impressed by it. Even I thought it was cool
for both the filmmakers and for Bart. It was a big swing.
I was like, good on him, that lucky boy.
Well, especially anyone knows your podcast history, knows you're a big Mike Myers fan, big Austin Powers fan, and that was a staple of an Austin Powers gag.
I hope Mike does that exactly. I hope Austin Powers 4, we just see Mike's dick.
The audacity of Mike Myers just flashing his dick out.
That would be my dream for Austin Powers 4, is you see all the Mike Myers characters' dicks. I think you do see Goldmember's dick.
That's
just
true,
the key. It's just the golden key.
Yeah.
But it would be wonderful to go, okay, you see what all Dr. Evil's dick look like, Austin's dick, Fat Bastard's dick,
prosthetics
a new
different for
character's
each new
dick,
makeup.
I hope, when Austin Powers 4. I think that would be very fun.
Wow.
And also was just they're just his dick. He doesn't put
Yeah.
doesn't do any prosthetics.
If anything,
It's the opening credits, those as the sort of big pop art bubbles come out. They're just in there.
yeah, everything else in the screen is getting covered up except the dick.
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 Well, yeah, okay, glad we got that out of the way, because that's always going to be a part of the Simpsons movie conversation. But yeah, I'll turn it to you first, David Molloy. What is a moment from this movie that stands out to you for better or worse?
Okay, I will jump straight into worse, because you just listed off all of the people who contributed to the script of this film, which in fairness, was sort of bubbling over a very long time. It's a moment later on where Lisa's getting furious about everything that's going on with the environment and with Homer and etc. And talks about, I'm just so angry. And Marge grabs her by the shoulders and says, "You're a woman, Lisa. You can hold on to it forever." That's a joke that was written by 11 men.
Oh, yeah.
11 men wrote that joke. It's that kind of was a bit of a tone that sort of bounced through the whole movie of just, it felt like, I remember when I first saw it thinking, again, as at that point in my life, I hadn't been, watching The Simpsons consistently for some time, because I hadn't been, I'd moved out, I was at uni. But, it felt so much like I remember enjoying it and thinking, oh, it's a good last hurrah for what The Simpsons was. And now watching it, it feels like really the herald of everything The Simpsons would become, which is that thing of like the wackiness outdoes all of the sentiment and the actual sort of like storytelling strength and, you know, the real strong joke writing that they used to have gets replaced by kind of like, you know, craziness and then pop cultural touchstoning as much as possible. And also really, I think the big standout thing for the entire movie is this impression that they're trying to make out that Homer is a lovable goof who's somewhat distractible. He doesn't have ADHD. He is a Cuntenheimer.
No,
he is such a bad human being.
Even watching this time through, they do make a point out of being like, no, you're really being awful this time. And then they don't like give him any real redemption. It's more like, oh, I'm gonna do better, or I'm gonna, you know, fix one thing that will benefit me anyway. And it's not really enough when you think about it. Like if you just gloss over it, it's fine. Yeah. But if you think about it, like, everyone's genuinely mad at you for very legitimate reasons.
Yeah. It's like they're all iconic characters, you know, because like Homer is the lovable goof who sometimes just can't get things right, but is the public nuisance who at the end of the day is also just an 8-year-old boy with a crappy father. Lisa's the, you know, proud environmental big thinker who's a little bit annoying because she's high-minded and a child. And Marge is long-suffering but very tender and very caring and when she wants to be, very strong. And you just don't see those archetypes actually play out properly anymore. You just get these real sort of empty facades of what they were. And that's kind of sad. But there's a few moments in the movie that I'll get to later, that stood out quite well. Yeah,
there are definitely parts that do work for it, but then I think it's just the problem of having been developed for so long over so many writers, it definitely loses a bit of focus. Like, you know, the kind of thing I kind of only realized at the end, Marge's whole thing throughout is that Homer doesn't listen to her, which doesn't really get resolved. Like, yes, he comes back, but he doesn't do it because he's now listening to what she's saying. And it's like that.
He saves the town, but she should have filed for divorce at the end.
Yes.
Like, by the way, you didn't listen, you didn't do anything.
Yeah. Oh, give me that ending.
Yeah. I think on your point, Dave, I think what this movie suffers from is it felt the need to be big to be a movie. And I don't think that really works in terms of like even what I think about when I think about The Simpsons. But for what works of The Simpsons is not plot. Like it's not like that. Each episode has a lovely plot. I mean, each episode, I don't know, of the 100 that I've seen in my life, maximum. But I think,
which is still a lot though. Like
that's a big estimation. I might be less than that. Who knows? But it's, you know, it is the detail orientation of it. Like it is the world of Springfield. It is the residents of Springfield. It is the family's dynamic. And I think almost none of that translates to the movie.
Yeah.
I think the movie is at its best when it feels like a James L. Brooks movie rather than feels like whatever weird speculative fiction they've decided to do is like, what if a small town had a dome put over it and was erased from the map to try and protect the pollution of the world? It's like an Ursula Le Guin thing. Like, is it okay to delete one town if it's going to save the rest of the country or whatever?
Which, as someone who has recently written a screenplay that involves a city with a dome on it, I think is a hack move.
Wow, the hack has attacked.
Oh no, Stephen King thought it was a good idea.
I'm famously never a hack, Stephen King.
But I just think it stops being interesting because of that. Where it's like wherever the film has to integrate into the plot of it, it stops being interesting. Like going to Alaska, having Homer go through like these trials of like with like an Inuit woman or whatever. It's like that's bizarre stuff. And it kind of makes sense in a Simpsons episode because there would be, I don't know, 2 minutes dedicated to it or something like that. But in a feature-length film, that is... it just feels antithetical to what is the best parts of The Simpsons, but also the best parts of The Simpsons movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially the somewhat recently released Bob's Burgers movie, I feel like is such a more solid achievement of what they're going for. Like, it's not a great, wonderful movie, like, but as far as like being a big version of the show, they like nailed it because like, and I think Bob's Burgers kind of learnt from Simpsons' mistake. They kept it simple. They kept it in the town, and you know, they haven't gone on these wacky hijinks adventures where they're like, where are they getting money for all this shit? You know, and like, it's an interesting comparison point. But how about you, BT? What stands out to you for better or worse from this movie?
Other than the, you know, Homer not actually learning to listen thing, it's just the stuff I forgot. I completely forgot that Abe was, you know, Grandpa was an oracle for a while there.
Yeah.
And had a
Can
whole
I ask, did you
premonition.
like that?
I was more confused. I was like, oh, wait, we're doing this. And it kind of doesn't really embed into anything other than Marge, you know, kind of warning Homer, but she's not sure what she's warning him about. It's just more, I think this might be something. It's like, well, he was babbling in church. You could excuse someone for ignoring that. So,
Well, I
It would
think
be a better movie if that was the full plot. Like they go, okay, Grandpa can speak to God.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
becomes the main movie.
damn.
Well, also that thing of maybe like a lot of there's really strong old Simpsons episodes where it is kind of all focused around one of the side characters and some strange quirk that somehow made them significant to the plot. That could have really done a favor for the movie.
Yeah.
For sure. Instead of making it like all around Homer, which I guess they have to for branding,
Exactly.
right? And also because Dan Castellaneta is 90% of their voice acting cast.
I think it is interesting because you go, well, like Bob's Burgers movie, I haven't seen it and I've not seen much of the show either, but I think that's an interesting 1-2 comparison because it's like you said, it sounds like they would have learned their lessons from what the Simpsons movie did.
Yeah.
And I think the Simpsons movie may have learned the wrong lessons from the South Park movie.
I was about to say.
I was going to
Interesting
say, yeah.
point.
Which is to make it a bigger cinematic event rather than translating what the feeling is. And I think that is because The Simpsons waited 17 years to make a movie. So at that point in time, it's too big of a cultural behemoth to serve any
To do
other
anything
purpose.
small, yeah.
To go, how do we get, and they make jokes about it in the movie, where people can get this for free at home, why would they go to the cinema and pay to go see it?
Yeah.
And I think for them, it was, okay, what can we give Simpsons lovers, because that is a huge population of people. That's like a big enough audience to go to. Maybe they'll get a few new people to come to. But for maybe something like Bob's Burgers, making a movie is an opportunity for them to go, hey, if you don't watch this show, here's something and you can learn what this show is. Simpsons is too big a cultural touchstone, cultural behemoth to be able to introduce people to what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and that's where this movie does feel like it's serving too many masters like that, because, like, I did listen to the couple of commentaries for this as well in the lead-up, and, like, they were saying they wanted it to be something that could serve both the longtime fans and people who had never seen the show before.
That's hard to do.
Yeah. And, like, there are, like, a few compromises that they did talk about with the making of this film, and, like, they were changing this thing all the way up to, you know, after test audience screenings, and, like, I've even got the gold Simpsons figurines over there, to your right, BT. They were released by Burger King in tie-in with the movie, and the one character you won't recognize there is the original model of Russ Cargill, Albert Brooks' character in the movie.
whoa.
So they changed the design after they'd given the design specs to Burger King to make these.
Interesting.
Is that why he looks like he has been drawn really quickly on a napkin? Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There are some dodgy animation moments with his forehead in that movie. But yeah, so the original model, for those that aren't watching the video feed, and how are you doing? Like, get your camera out of my house. We're not a video podcast. They described the original model as like a Donald Rumsfeld looking guy. And so, and Albert Brooks approached the character like that. And yeah, then when they redesigned him, had to change him again.
Yeah, I will. Sorry, just to quickly, while we're on that, Albert Brooks is great in this.
Oh, yeah.
he is. He's very good.
He is
Yeah.
wonderful. He is a starring Springfield darling. We have bent the rules slightly to accommodate him into our podcast so we can review such fucking awesome movies like Defending Your Life and
but my
Taxi Driver.
recently was that, you know, garbage episode where they bring Jacques back.
Oh.
And that kind of fun riffing of Albert Brooks just doesn't work in that one. Whereas this, I don't know what parts were, improv and what parts weren't, but all his dialogue is great.
Apparently not a lot. again, on the commentaries, apparently, the tough, soft riff, that was all written,
Ah, okay. Well, no, like the line, because I watched this with my girlfriend who's not a big Simpsons fan to begin with, but the line that kind of killed her and me was like, it's like, sir, I think you've gone mad with power. Of course I got mad with power. If you ever gone mad without power, it's no fun. No one pays any attention to you.
Yeah.
Very good.
My killer Albert Brooks line, and apparently this was a Swartzwelder line from this, is like, no, you're not trapped like rats. Rats are much harder to trap. You're more trapped like carrots. Yeah, perfect line, perfect delivery.
It was funny, actually, to see the sort of like, Russ Cargill character having these sort of like, Elon Musk parallels now of being like, I just want to find a way to give back. Not the money. But
And sorry, I was leading up the change with some of the other things. You brought up Grandpa's divine intervention. There is actually a lot of divine intervention in this movie.
Yeah.
But apparently that wasn't meant for Grandpa initially. That was meant to be Marge that experienced that.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that pulls a bit more weight on her being like, you have to take me seriously. Because, it's fair enough to ignore, your grandfather who's suddenly speaking nonsense in church. When your wife does it, you'd be like, oh, this might be a thing.
which I guess is, that's what Marge is supposed to play in this, in that she is
That
the
makes
translator for that.
A lot more sense.
She's the, Grandpa's the prophet and she's the translator, but no one's listening to the translator.
Yeah. How about you, Alexei? What's a standout moment from this, for better or worse?
For better or worse, I think the surprise for me was the experience of watching this on Disney Plus. Was when the movie starts, it starts with the itchy and scratchy short.
Yes. The really bloodless itchy and scratchy short. Yeah.
I gotta say, though, when I first heard about the Simpsons movie when I was a kid, honestly, that was my first thought. They've got to open this with an itchy and scratchy, like movies used to open up with Warner Brothers cartoons.
Yes.
They've got to do that. And I was so happy when I saw that in the cinemas that they did that.
And for me, watching it yesterday was, okay, why is this not in widescreen? This is a movie, and it's not even in 4:3. It was just like go far out. Is this like so they can't bump this up to high definition or something, so it's tiny? And then when the movie actually begins and it stretches out to fill my screen, I was like, oh, cool.
Neat.
Neither. That was nice.
Yeah, that's a nice trick.
And I'm like, I cannot remember that happening in the cinema. I guess it did, but I have no memory of it.
No, when I was in the cinema, I remember they also timed the curtain widening for that as well.
I remember that too, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
I actually forgot to jump
Hats
on that.
off to Dendy or whoever it was that you were experiencing it with.
The Empire Cinema in Barrel.
I was about to. I forgot to jump on that when you mentioned where you saw it, Alexei. Yeah, because I saw it at a random. It might have been a Greater Union at that time in Noosa.
Whoa.
I was up for my then girlfriend's sister's wedding, and you remember Tabitha. I don't need to say much more.
Let's get into Tabitha.
Real quick story just for the fun of it. You can cut it if you like. Was she would always obsessively hug me whenever we met. So I started...
Not just hug, but running
attack
leap.
hug. And I'm not a hugger by nature, but this was even more so not. So I would purposely show... Every time I knew I was going to see you, I would purposely be carrying something. So I'd be like, sorry, you can't hug me. I'm carrying this tub of dolphin food or whatever it was.
But yeah, not to rag on her too much because it's been a long time. I'm sure she's changed.
Long time. We've all grown and changed, but it's always been funny to be like,
just
okay,
like the Simpsons.
I'm going to go see Elliot. What can I carry?
Got a lot of cases of beer out of you just from that. But her family was similarly very full on, so I needed a break from it all. So I was like, this is going to be me seeing the Simpsons movie.
Allow me to visit my other favorite family.
Yeah, this is my secret family. Do you remember where you were when you saw it, PT?
I think just maybe with work friends at Castle Hill Cinema.
Yeah.
I was like, I would have been Hornsby Cinema.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were your two cinemas growing up.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I worked in the Hornsby, so
there we go.
Yeah.
Cool
They're
story.
like, hey, you want to go see Simpsons? I'm like, yep.
Yes, I do.
So get this, I wanted to see a movie, so I did.
Interesting. Well, this has been
which
the
was
Simpsons.
the style at the time.
I actually, because we're merging two podcasts, I forgot to lead this off as well with one of the games we like to play on starring Springfield. We have a game called Bank or Tank. So, with a budget of $75 million, what do we reckon? Did the Simpsons movie make bank?
Of course it banked.
I'm going to say 250 mil.
Ooh, we're going to Price is Right this.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay.
Wow.
BT.
250? Let's see, on 75, this is 2007 money. I'm gonna say I honestly think you've nailed it. So let's go a little higher. Let's say 275.
275.
I will go 375.
Ooh.
Good move, Alexei, but you're still well short because it made
Whoa.
536 million.
I tell you, I was thinking 500, but when you guys went so low, I was like,
Yeah.
surely
Wow.
not then.
No,
Yeah,
this
wow.
was a very successful film. Fox were very annoyed that Simpsons didn't want to do a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
that.
It
They
is
did,
crazy
apparently.
they
On
haven't done
75
another
million,
film.
that's-
I
They've
think it
been
is crazy.
apparently trying for 17 years. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
What?
they had one that was in the works that got tanked by COVID, and then largely the makers have just been saying we're waiting for when the story feels right. And
Oh, do
Well,
you think it would be the closer?
Yeah.
I feel like at this point it's not going to make 500 mil. It's not the cultural touchstone it once was. Like,
true.
we'll go see it, and that's
But
about
I
it.
think that will be the thing if they do a sequel, as if people wouldn't go see it. Like people that love The Simpsons growing up, especially if they promise like this is how we're ending The
If
Simpsons.
they say it's the
Yeah.
ending, then yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
You'd
everybody,
have
it would make like a buco Dolores. It would make so much money.
But yeah, if it was just another sequel
Yeah.
in amongst the fucking 20
Yeah.
more seasons, that
Yeah.
I don't think it would. But
If it's
no,
the end, yeah.
a couple of episodes we reviewed with you, Molloy, is the Kang and Kodos non-treehouse of horror episode.
Oh, yeah.
That
Wait,
was
what?
originally
That's
a
right.
pitch for a Simpsons movie sequel where, The Simpsons, and this is, again, a canon episode, not Treehouse of Horror. Kang and Kodos abduct the Simpsons and they go hang out on their home planet for a bit.
That would have blown chunks. That would have been
The
The episode
miserable
was bad
time.
enough.
Yeah.
Can
Can
I
you imagine
ask-
it being 3 times as long?
I know they did crossover the Family Guy. Is that canon or what?
Oh, I think it's canon to Family Guy, but not to Simpsons. 'cause
Is it
that-
in Family Guy, not
Yeah,
in Simpsons? Okay,
I
thank
think
Yeah.
that's how they
Yes.
can write that off.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Peter Griffin and Homer doing a sexy car wash in Daisy Dukes, that's canon to me. That's canon in here, where it
Yep.
matters. I was pointing at my nuts. But yeah, what stands out to me from this flick? Look, the divine intervention thing I found kind of lazy storytelling on this watch.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
I don't hate this movie by any means,
No.
but mostly I feel like, it's a pretty story, whatever, but like it's the jokes that are carrying it through. But like they just lean on divine intervention a bit too much, and that to me just kind of reads like, I don't know, fill a story idea, we'll come up with something better later, because God has a lot to do with
Yeah.
the plot of this movie.
It's like one of the writers was like, "Hey guys, you ever heard of Deus Ex Machina?"
I've been reading a lot of Stephen King lately, and I just don't know how to wrap this thing up.
Oh, that was a crazy revelation to me. Like, Stephen King's Dome thing came after this.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Really?
Really? That's wild.
Yeah.
Like
and-
not long after, but maybe a couple of years. I can't remember.
No, and
Just long enough for him to have ripped it off. It
Yeah.
sounds like not to be
Just like
parallel
that, he's
thinking.
waiting for the moment that it's faded from pop culture.
Yeah.
Just it's like, now I've got him.
He's sitting there in the cinema and goes, "Yes, what if this, but Stephen King?"
Yeah, strike while the iron is still a bit warm.
well, I mean, that's an interesting, like, because and the Simpsons parodied that as well, where it's like a season 22 episode 5 years after this, where Mr. Burns goes, "Oh, I'm getting revenge on you all. I'm putting the town under a dome," and they're like, "We've already done that, and so is someone else." Yeah. Oh, and the other idea they had for a Simpsons movie was the Camp Krusty episode, which we also reviewed with you.
Oh, sure.
But so they went to make that in around season 4, but they were like, "Oh, we've barely got enough for an episode, let alone a movie for this one."
Yeah. You just needed 12 more writers, and you could have gotten
Yeah.
that content.
12 more writers
We
and
need
12 more years.
We need more men. And arrange the writers by Tufton, Soft, and anyway. But so what you were talking about before, Alexei, that like that would have been the moment to make this movie, right? Because South Park, I think to their credit, made their movie like while they were doing season 3 or 4 or something.
It was
like
quite
that.
early in the run.
Yeah.
And also that being a musical as well, I think gave it some direction.
That's
whereas,
it, right? The big
Yes.
swing for
Yeah.
it is the fact that they've found a story hook that is bigger and more dramatic and more compelling, but also they have gone, let's do a formal experiment, which for them is not a formal experiment.
Yeah, I was
they're
going to say, South Park
musical
always
guys.
could go, like, they'd already gone to, like, hell in the episode.
But
and
they found
space
that
and-
formal experiment to tie the film together, and that movie has aged immaculately. God,
Oh.
that movie's good.
so much better
I
than
still
a
love
lot of
Bigger,
South
Longer,
Park.
and Yeah, it's great.
And yeah, and it comes from them having like experience. Like I think Trey Parker studied music at school, and Cannonball,
Cannonball.
Cannibal the musical.
Yeah.
Excuse
Those
me.
songs whip, and then 7 years later we get Green Day going da, 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 like.
Not a bad joke though to have the teleprompter say da 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 da.
Yeah, I like the joke.
Okay, the teleprompter joke was good, but also punk is fucking dead.
And extracted from context of the era. My girlfriend was just like, "Why is Green Day here?"
Oh, sorry. The other good gag they got out of it was American Idiot funeral version.
Yeah.
Sheet music.
Look, they got some decent mileage out of that cameo, but it was if they weren't big at the time, it was like, why are Green Day here?
Oh, they were. This is like right when they're riding
Oh,
home
no,
from
I know
American
at
Idiot.
the time,
Green
but I mean,
Day-
in retrospect
Oh, okay,
now.
sure.
Green Day protesting the Bush administration while taking Fox money.
Yeah.
Yeah, would have loved to see them protest President Arnold Schwarzenegger in this one.
Which also, how could they not get Schwartz? How
Yeah.
could they not get Schwartz?
I
Like,
don't know.
surely they had the pull to get Schwartz.
And surely can't they just make it who's the guy that Arnie in The
Wolfcastle?
Simpsons?
Yeah,
why?
McBain, yeah.
Why are they doing that?
I
Like
know,
I
it's
was
such an odd choice.
I
almost
remember
the same
that being
character
my
model.
thought when I was a kid, going like, "What? So he exists in this world too?" I thought they had their own version.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
It's the same character model.
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, they literally just gave him a couple of wrinkles and darkened his hair a bit. Like,
And
it's the same voice.
That's a funny gag if you put that in there because, as we all know, even in Australia, that you cannot become the president of the United States unless you're born in America.
Yeah.
Of course, we went through the saga of the birth certificate of Obama, but like if they go, then they reveal that, oh yeah, he actually was born in America.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can do that as a little gag. It's easy with the Raina Wolfcastle.
Yeah.
What's his name? Yeah.
like, and that's the thing, we'd get it, but I guess, again, serving too many masters, they didn't want to have to explain that, I guess. But that was another thing, like, with the choice of characters here, because the original pitch for Ross Cargill was meant to be Hank Scorpio.
All right.
And Albert Brooks was actually the one that pushed against that. It was basically saying, yeah, you're inviting the comparison if you're doing that.
That's
And,
true.
You know,
But I
this-
wonder if maybe the Hank Scorpio one would have made a better film.
it's hard to tell because, like
on the one hand, I don't want to see the character return just because.
Definitely. Yeah.
And you've got the same actor with the same kind of, improv talent and riffing. But, hey, it's I think anytime you mention an alternative to this script, it'll be like, oh, that could be interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll have to get into it in the What Would You Change. But yeah, so let's move on. Was this a particularly wacky movie? You know, Alexei, on the Simpsons Index, we think the two pillars of what makes a great Simpsons episode is their way to balance wackiness and heart. So how was the cartoony elements of this film?
And plenty of.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I guess it is wacky. Like you have to give it to it. It's wacky, but I think because it leans so far into like this speculative fiction plot device, I don't think it is even really wacky enough. Like there's wacky gags and like wacky visual gags, but I actually don't think it finds a balance because it doesn't swing hard enough either way into like the sentimental family version of The Simpsons, or like that's kind of grounded sitcom family type stuff, or into like a big, bold, brashy film plot. I don't think in their reluctance to swing either way, they actually don't achieve balance.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think there's points where that, like, in terms of the wackiness, I think I mentioned before, it a lot of it has that kind of feigned feel to it of like, we're going wacky again. And like, the kind of like rock and hard place bit of him being swung between the two, which I remember seeing in the cinema and thinking was hilarious.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now it's sort of like, okay, but let's
That
like,
made me roll my eyes.
it's a bit eye rolling. Yeah, exactly.
Like, it really fucking bugged me this time because, like, the saying is, like, you're caught between a rock and a hard place, right? You're not swinging back and forth between them. And then also just, like, the whole thing, like...
Such a nitpicky take.
Nitpicking on a podcast? What?
Yeah, that's kind of what we do here. But also, like, okay, yeah, you've got the rock. Visually, you can tell what that is. But then to make the joke work, you have to write a hard place on the building. And it's like, well, if you have to spell the joke out, then surely it's not worth doing.
I think
12 writers.
because I had like I was trying to go back through my notes and like circle the times that I actually did laugh out loud.
Yeah.
And one of them was the stop sign that said "sop," and then the follow up line that made
we
me
can't
giggle.
stop
It's
at
just-
every Sop, yelled, and
yelled and one
vey.
vey. Yeah. It's like those kind of, when the wackiness is really passing, when it's just like a momentary thing. The other thing that really got me, because it felt like a classic Simpsons joke, was when Kent Brockman was doing the, like, a dome is over the city, blah, blah, blah. But in good news, the swallows return to Springfield, and then all the birds crashing into the dome, and then there's the cats. It's like, that's a great wacky moment.
yeah,
that
with a
felt
great like
in
stack
keeping.
upon. Like,
Yeah,
okay, it's
exactly.
funny to see them dom into the dome, but then the cats underneath are just a little bit
It's
extra.
grim, and I love it. It's good.
And as far as like cartoon gags go, another one in that style that I thought worked well was when the Simpsons family at the gas station and they see the wanted poster for them, and then Bart goes and draws, and then there's an identical looking family to the one that he characterized them to look like. I thought that's like a fun cartoon gag that worked really nicely.
It's good. I would say the only downside to that, and maybe 2 or 3 of the other gags, is that they've done that joke before. Like, that's the gentleman Homer walking into the bar and being
But
like,
not while I'm
Guy
eating
in
popcorn
incognito.
Yeah,
and
that's
sipping
true.
on a big
That's true.
soda.
They also, they redid the jump over Springfield Gorge just to, like, tick that box. And there was a couple of those where it's like, hey guys, we've been here. Like,
Yeah. Again, in the commentaries, they were like, they didn't have an ending for that scene, and they were like, oh, yeah, let's bring back the gorge. But then, that gets me into like a bit of like, what's the geography going on here where Russ Cargill suddenly appears
he's
where
back in the dome, yeah.
like, why is he here? He's always like been, in Washington, assumingly. And then, Maggie's all of a sudden there to kill him, her character trait of killing adults.
Yep.
And then, she just bounces, and Homer's Bart's like, okay, baby, you got here safe enough. You can
You can find your way home.
But I mean, having said that, I think, the dome was some of my more fun, wacky moments from it. Like, I love that moment in Frustration where Russ throws the binoculars and immediately comes back and bounces back in it.
And again, because it's not a whole moment, it's just bang, bang, and then they move on to the next line. And it's like, that's exactly the time we need for that joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, any other wacky moments, BT?
Yeah, I mean, Homer fishing with electricity and then eating the fish and continuing to be electrified. Yeah.
Hated that.
Look, went on. It was surely showing Bart going fishing with Homer and having a bad time should just be Homer's drunk. I don't know.
Well, I mean, just talking about Homer and Bart then, like, that was some of my favorite wackiness is them on the roof and that initial, like, dare game stuff. That was a lot of good fun, like, and showing Bart and Homer's relationship in that one.
I agree. Let's see. The bit where Homer dumps all the pig crap into the lake and then the lake bubbles over and turns black and a skull appears and a skull says evil. That's maybe
I think worse even, the one that really got me, and the one that was kind of like, I almost feel like I need to pause and take a break, was when the dome goes down and Homer yells, "Dome!" Like, oh Christ, really?
Again, to the commentaries, like, half the people in that recording session is like, I wish we cut that. And the others are like fervently defending it. And
I kind of get that because it's like right on the line of, it's so obvious we have to do it, but it's also so obvious you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
The best jokes are always the ones you have to fight everyone to keep in.
What else we got? So when they're all leaving through the sinkhole in the sandpit later, it makes kind of a magical teleport sound. Like, meow. It's like, that's not what this is, guys. It's a sandpit.
Yeah, them escaping the sinkhole scene, like, that bugged me way more than it should have for this. Again,
It's good for the middle finger bit, though. Like, I do like that visual gag.
But yeah, just that, like, no one else thinks to also jump in and chase after them, and like,
well, it's implied only through like dialogue they think they're going straight down into the earth, not to the other side of the dome.
Yeah,
and again, also that little touch of when the Simpsons goes dark, which I think is like, one of the things that I've always liked about the Treehouse of Horror things is I think a lot of the time, and again we're excluding 20 plus years of The Simpsons, but a lot of the time when those jokes work, they skew dark, but in that sort of like, I'm a little stinker kind of like tongue-in-cheek way that they write so well. The putting the fucking baby pacifier on the noose.
I know.
Was like,
well, it was also a big swing from like, Homer's like, I would let them in, but they'll go after you. And the mob literally yells, nope, just Homer. Except then they've got nooses for everybody.
But what if they'll go for Grandpa? I'm part of the
Yeah, great line. That was a great line. But yeah, the idea that, noose for the baby as well. It's like,
so wild.
That's a turn.
Yeah, no, one of my moments is just like, why did they even include this? Like, especially because they had that line already. And
Yeah.
again, from the commentary, they labored over this fucking thing and rewrote it like so much. Like,
Or Nelson saying, I'm using a red arrow so I can know who I kill.
yeah. Fucking brutal. But yeah, in a lot of the marketing and trailers for this, like they really used that big crowd shot of them,
Yeah.
with the fire and coming up to the Simpsons house. Like,
And look, that's a good use of the movie budget to be like, hey, look at this big crazy crowd shot. Yeah.
yeah, and also to the movie's credit, I think it was mostly hand drawn and stuff like that. So it looks great as well, that
Yeah.
shot. But yeah,
My next note of whack is the Disney sex scene.
Wait, which scene?
Holy,
I
when
don't
they're,
remember
when they're
this.
Alaska and
You,
they're like
I think
doing,
you may have like blacked this out for your
Wow.
own benefit. Like
I
you've saved
genuinely
yourself.
don't remember
Ma-
what
Margin,
you're...
I mean,
no,
her in
I mean, I
Alaska
was
and
surprised with
Margin-
Disney that they didn't censor little Barty Boy's dick, but
I
Or,
was wondering if they would.
Yeah.
But so wait, there's a sex scene in the movie? I
Oh,
literally
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
remember this at
Wow,
all.
Yeah,
from
it's-
yesterday.
it's
animal
grim.
assisted sex, no less.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they're in
my
Alaska and all the
God.
animals show up to kind of undress them, and like a deer just tears Marge's dress right off.
Oh my god! Honestly, the only thing I remember from it was the thought going like, okay, they've got a little bit of different animation style for the
Yeah.
characters. I think I blocked out what was going on with that. This is a repressed memory you're unlocking
Incredible.
from under 24 hours.
Well, there's no
Wow.
actual sex scene. We don't actually see, like, it's all in animal reaction that we can assume what's going on.
Because
So-
I have seen Simpsons sex scenes, but usually it's on the banners of websites that I've looked up.
yeah, that's for the Patreon exclusive Simpsons review podcast. Got to join at the $69 tier. Well, that segues perfectly into the heart. How is the emotions of this episode?
They don't quite tie
Movie.
together. There's bits, but I don't think they really work. Like Bart's, disillusionment with Homer is fair enough, and the only bit that fixes it at the end, he's like, "I'll let you hold the bomb," and it's like it's kind of going for almost an anti-Hart moment of,
Yeah.
Okay, he's a goofy idiot, and there's a moment where Flanders even says, "Oh, look, I think what your dad's trying to say is he wants to spend his last few minutes with you." That's really nice, but it's a mix of going for the opposite of like, he's still a jerk, but bomb, and then the actual legitimate heart of, this is his way of apologizing. It's in between both, and I don't know if it quite lands it there.
I think the stuff with Bart and Flanders, for the most part, really worked for me. Like,
Yeah,
I
me
found
too.
that quite emotional. But what I actually did feel, it did conjure emotion in me, was the plot with Marge and Homer, for the most part, is not that interesting. But the moment that feels really real is when she goes back into the house when they're leaving, gets
Yeah.
their wedding tape is the one thing she gets, and Homer's like, I didn't even know we had a wedding tape. I think that's
Yeah.
a lovely moment, but then the actual catharsis for that, or the emotional stakes building, where Marge records a video over the wedding tape, I think
So good.
is really
Yeah.
good. Like,
Yeah.
that is worthy of being elevated to cinema for the movie. And I
Yeah.
think if the film had played more in that space of, this is a movie about Marge and Homer and the crux of their relationship, the stakes are their divorce or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, that'll be the end of their relationship. That to me is cinematic. That's cinematic more than like a fucking science fiction plot. Like,
Yeah.
that would be what the movie should be based on. Should be James L. Brooks. I'm not saying they should have made Terms of Endearment with the Simpsons or whatever, but I'm like, that's more what I would want from this. And I think those are the moments that really, really, really work for me in this film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, because Julie's performance there as well is pretty immaculate.
Amazing.
And apparently, because, they had multiple recording sessions for this thing, but for Julie, when she had to do this line, apparently she was delayed because she was caught in a snowstorm in Michigan or something like that. And she
The
was
hell?
like,
What's she doing in Michigan? Does she live there?
I don't know. That is like, I listened to the commentaries like 3 days ago. I tried my best to remember all the things.
She was there for the storm.
Beautiful storm.
What loves it?
But yeah, so like came into the session really tired and exhausted and frustrated and everything, and then they capitalized on that moment and got it. Okay, this is when you deliver this heart-wrenching
She's
emotional
like,
speech.
I'm having a shit day, and they're like, good, use it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's beautifully written. It's so
Yeah,
well performed,
it's a
and
clever idea.
they give it the space.
Yeah.
Like they give it the space in the plot
Yeah,
that gives it that veracity. I think
Absolutely.
because
There's a
you
line
can feel.
that's something like, people always ask me, why do you put up with this crazy stuff? And I'm starting to not have an answer.
I
Yeah.
don't have a
And
good
it's just
answer,
like,
but yeah,
shit, that's huge.
huge.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. I think also like with the Bart and Flanders stuff, again, it goes. I think Flanders and Lisa really are largely the heart of this movie and that Marge moment. But like, there's a moment where like Flanders just gives Bart a pat on the back, and Bart's physical reaction to that is so well animated. Like, that was the other real bump of like, because you're not only feeling, you've just seen this whole goofy, violent relationship where, they're riffing on the in any other context, abusive relationship that Homer and Bart have always had, but played up for that cartooniness. And then suddenly you have this just real moment of a child relaxing and receiving praise, and it's like, holy shit, that's so moving.
Nancy Cartwright's bringing it as well. Like, I think across the board, the voice acting is pretty fucking top notch here.
You've just bought another load of crap from the world's fattest fertilizer
Yeah.
salesman. That line fucking hits.
Oh, that
like,
drunk acting, that was so good.
Yep.
And like the way, the pat on the back one more time. And the other standout line is after Flanders makes that cocoa that like was ridiculous at the time, but since like all those like candy shops do those ridiculous milkshakes, kind of actually looks tamed by today's standards, but whatever. But yeah, when Bart takes that first sip of the cocoa, it's, oh my god, that is just like, oh, I can taste that cocoa.
Yeah,
That is just,
It's a cocoa that's a warm hug and a smooch on the forehead.
But Flanders is in top form here.
Yeah.
Also saying like, if you fall off the roof, you'll be a paraplegia. Like, that's
Which also,
great.
but then kind of sucks at the very end when Rod or Todd or one of the others goes, I wish Mr. Homer was my dad. And he goes, well, I wish you didn't have the devil's curly hair.
Yeah.
It's like, what
So
a
out of
sudden
nowhere.
fucking turn for him.
No, I kind of like that.
Can I ask you, because I became Flanders curious as well while watching this movie, and then I
The
looked,
moustache.
I can't remember where I looked it up, or maybe it was just on like Letterboxd reviews for the film or something. But Flanders apparently is 60 years old.
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Flanders is a senior citizen. They have a whole episode about it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So what? Why?
He prays to God and stays in shape. He looks good for his age.
So, but he has. So his kids. His
Yeah.
kids are.
Well, you
but
also have
it's-
to remember, massive dong.
Yeah,
Oh,
He
yeah.
also
Yeah.
has a massive
Canonically
dong.
enormous.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a beautiful ass. I remember that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So
Six-pack
Maud
abs.
Keeping it
Flanders
together.
was much younger than him.
Honestly, we never
Right.
found out how old
Yeah,
Maud
that's a
is.
good point. Yeah.
So presumably she's got to be of childbirthing age, so also not 60, presumably.
A horrific phrase.
I don't know how else to put that.
Well, yeah, because you can assume Todd's 10, Rod's maybe 12 or something. So, yeah, Flanders had kids in his mid to late 40s. Yeah.
I chose to never think about it.
Oh, I've thought about it a lot.
One of those websites you click the banner ads on.
Yeah.
I feel like Lisa's little girly romance thing is so sweet.
Yeah,
like
it's
the
very
way that
cute.
plays out.
Like, yes, it's very brief, but I think it's there as much as it needs to be, and it's got very much just first big crush moments.
And
And that's
but
about it.
particularly also like her holding hands with him at the end as they're
Yeah.
walking away, and she's like, "Sorry, sweaty." Like
That
just
was
the
apparently-
underplay of the line is so good.
That was apparently an improv
Oh,
by
no.
Yardley.
Really?
Perfect.
And he brought by
Yardley.
the animator going, neither one.
I reckon I could sound like Yardley.
Yeah, the animator's just sitting there trying to draw, and he keeps dropping the pen. He's like, "Sorry, sweaty." He's like, "Wait, say that again." But it also led to a good little heart moment of, she bomb's about to go off, and Lisa's like, "No, I've got to find Colin." And Marge's like, Doomsday is family time.
Yeah. And I think it gives a great little moment for Milhouse
Yeah.
to be a loser. I think that's my favorite joke of the whole movie.
It's really good.
Is Milhouse coming out and being like, "Oh, he died."
Yeah.
I think that's so funny.
And then his line when Colin rocks up is, "I got her all warmed up for you."
so funny.
Warmed up.
It's so funny. And I also would even say, I think that's the most fun stuff for me, because I think Springfield is like the great star of The Simpsons. It's what we think about
Really
and
the
what we think is
sixth cat
beautiful.
family member.
But it's like going back and seeing how Springfield has become a post-apocalyptic,
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
like the Warriors or something, even, where it's like become like something even crazier. I think that's really fun, and I wish we spent more time
Yeah,
in
I was
that
gonna
space.
say, 'cause
Especially
that's-
because the introduction to that is Mo walking up in the fucked up
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic gear and just going,
Yeah.
"Oh, hey, Midge."
Hey, Mitch, I've kind of become emperor here. No, you're not. And he hucks the the Molotov back, and he's like, okay, hail the Emperor.
Yeah, that implies such a more interesting story to me than following The Simpsons to Alaska. But
Can I ask, is Dr. Nick canonically dead?
nah, he has come back.
Ah, come on. Stick to your convictions,
They should have
guys.
killed one person off permanently from the movie.
Yeah, and like if you're going to give us that as the gag, just do it. Like
Yeah.
Dr. Nick's enough of a side character as someone who loves Dr. Nick.
Yeah.
Kill him off.
Well, it was an interesting thing because, like, yeah, he was gone for a long time post-movie, but then he's, like, come back for a couple of appearances only to disappear again because Hank Azaria, problem with Apu, and even you see the credits in this movie where they do the, little squares of every character the Simpsons have played. And I'm like, Hank Azaria, 4 of the 10 characters he's credited for here are, people of color.
He's also played, every race.
I mean, that's almost the liberating thing about Dr. Nick is I don't know what race he is. Like, I don't know. Can I say this is inappropriate?
I
no
think
idea.
he's Filipino.
Yeah.
Let's all speculate.
Riviera could be a lot of places.
I have heard the phrases like, that accent sounds racist for a race that doesn't exist.
But ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons? Is this a movie representative of the show we know and love? Is these the characters we know and love? How's the integrity of it all?
I mean, character by character, I think fine. There's nothing it's just, maybe some of the larger arcs and larger thread works don't quite work, but yeah, I wouldn't say there's anything that feels broken here.
Really, for me, it all feels the most like The Simpsons from Lisa. And I think in terms of also just big swings where you're stepping up from the TV format into the cinema format, is her just turning around and slugging Bart in the face. Like, it's a great moment. That's the kind of thing you're like, I'm going to see a Simpsons movie. Lisa's just going to punch Bart in the mouth. It's like, perfect. That's what we want. That's the escalation,
Yeah.
Like, that's great.
Talking about balance of wackiness and heart, I love that scene where, Colin's playing her the song, she can't hear it, so he writes the sheet music on the dome, which, by the way, he's writing that backwards from his perspective.
I know, that's difficult.
Yeah. I couldn't do that, and I went to a music uni. But yeah, that's a really sweet moment, and then to undercut it with the whack is
so good.
But yeah, Yardley's on top form. I was going to say that before as well. Like when she finds out that Homer's the reason why the town's getting domed, and that "you monster," that delivery is so good.
Yeah.
It's a shame about the, suppress your rage, Lisa follow-up, but,
I think also there's that, like, this is more of a negative, it feels like The Simpsons, but when they're taking swings at the government, they take swings at Fox, they take swings at Disney, they actively call Disney an evil corporation.
Again, not censored for Disney+.
And not censored for Disney+, but they're still on the teat for all of those things.
Yeah.
And particularly all of the anti-government stuff feels very toothless. And it feels like that kind of, how about those clowns in Congress did it again? Like, it feels like that level of, like, it's just a bit easy, for them, and that's a bit of a downer, but it does feel sort of true to The Simpsons in an unfortunate way.
Yeah, that's it. And I do remember feeling this as I saw it at the time because, I quite liked this movie when it first came out and saw it maybe 3 times in cinemas or something like that.
Oh, sure.
And at that feeling of mid to late teen Simpsons where, the quality has dropped off significantly, and a lot of that actually can be chalked of that they were also producing the movie at the same time. Like, when you look at our average ratings on the simpsonsindex.com, you'll see that, there's a massive drop-off at season 15, and that's when production on the movie starts.
Yeah.
And, it does make me wonder, oh, God, what world do I wish I lived in? Is the one where the show was, better or the movie existed, and, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it's it feels like The Simpsons, but not particularly any of the episodes that I love. And it goes back to literally my last point of being, it's not in Springfield.
Yeah.
And it's it's like one of those episodes where they go on a road trip, but don't even have the pleasure of it being a road movie or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't feel like The Simpsons because it doesn't feel like it's set in Springfield at all. And you don't get to experience that town. You don't get to experience the townsfolk of it, except for little brief moments.
Yeah, that's it. And because they're, again, to your point before, Alexei, of them trying to be too big and do too many things and serve all the characters, it would have been nicer if they did kind of elevate a couple of their B characters up and, all right, you got the job of the movie for this one, and focus in a bit more, because it feels like they kind of had a checklist to make sure every character got a fucking bit, you know? And I think it is one of the big shames of this movie. And like they claimed that they tried more material about, Springfield Under the Dome without the Simpsons there. And they say, we got about as much material as we could out of it. They said, and I'm like,
I mean, surely a few more cutbacks for like time transition and stuff.
Yeah.
And again about the implied story, like, because there's this mid-credits thing where they go into Mr. Burns' house and Smith's, they stole everything. And I'm like, where's this story? You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, where was Mr. Burns? You see him for a second at the start, and then never again. You go,
Surely he'd be like, I'm too rich to be trapped.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, you've got Mr. Burns is one of the great villainesque characters
Yeah.
in cartoon history, and then you go, let's just create a new villain for this movie. Let's make a new president. Go, just make Mr. Burns becomes president or some shit.
Yeah.
you know?
Oh.
And that's where the dome shit comes in. You know, that's whatever. That's fine.
I guess that segues into what would we like to change about this one? BT.
I hadn't thought about this too much.
Improve the Simpsons movie, the thing they spent 3.5 years writing.
It's certainly doable. It's just, I'm just like got the scalpel. I'm like, where do I cut? I think just strengthen those character relationships throughout. Like, I think Lisa's is fine, but having her, like you said, there's a great moment where she is furious at Homer, and that just kind of stops and goes away. And yeah, they have that 1 week line to kind of explain it, but that doesn't feel like I want more redemption from Homer, I guess, and I want him to be a bit more
A single redeeming quality would be great.
Or like, well, even just something like you need a big stupid doofus got you in this situation, and that's the only one that's going to get you out, or something like that. Or
Doesn't have much of an internal struggle.
No,
like it's
no.
all
Yeah.
the external stuff.
Like-
even though they set up so much, it's about his internal thing with Bart and Marge and all that, his family. But it's like, nope, it's all the external struggle.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's almost a bit where he says, well, I'm going to now risk my life for people I hate for reasons I don't fully understand, which almost works for like a anti-Hart kind of moment, but it just doesn't quite land for me.
Also kind of speaks to the sentiment in the writer room, because I feel like a lot of that stuff you were talking about with characters, and particularly the larger Springfield cast, it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of affection for these people. Whereas, like, the nostalgia that we have for the show comes from the warm feeling of like the familiarity, and instead of familiar, it feels like a checklist of the things the characters do. So I think returning to that love of writing gags within these characters, the whole Skinner, no, it's the children who are wrong, that comes from a love of that character and the contradiction they're in, you know?
And here it's like, I guess our favorite townsperson of Springfield, probably Cletus, because they show him so much. Like, what? Why him?
They rip on him all the time, and the whole thing is Cletus is an idiot, and it's like, but Homer's the main character, and they're essentially the fucking same in this context.
Although I did kind of like when they put the barrier around the lake. It's like, can you throw this out and into the lake? He's like, I simply cannot.
That was the Cletus joke for me. The one about him distracting Albert Brooks at the end. I lost a game of tic-tac-toe against a chicken. That was so lame. But I did like the line where he's like, watch me remove my thumb. You want to know how I did that? And he goes, 4 generations of inbreeding. Again, Albert Brooks is a fucking delivery master. He should be a mailman. And was that what you'd like to change, David, or any more?
I think lean into the strength of all of these like comedy greats. I think it is bizarre 17 years in to not have Conan O'Brien involved with this.
Apparently he was offered, but busy with Tonight Show.
It was like The Simpsons. That's still on.
He even was asked about it afterwards, and he goes, I kind of didn't feel confident to return to that space. I feel like it was something like spending 17 years of interviewing Lindsay Lohan might have destroyed my brain for that.
Look, fair.
Oh, man.
Very different style of comedies.
Also, just while we're on people approach to come back, Brad Bird was also asked to be involved in it again, but he was too busy with The Incredibles and Ratatouille at the same time.
Too busy making good films.
Yeah, which we've covered on our Patreon over on our side series, Brad Bird Watching, where we're looking at the films of Brad Bird.
Yes.
And
where we just did Ratatouille.
Yeah.
That's where we are in the filmography.
Yeah, that's it.
I think the things that I would change are not repeating the gags. So, like, the things we've seen before, which also made me think of, like, the Spirit Fox and the whole really, racially strange, like, Inuit woman kind of thing.
It just kind of comes out of nowhere as well. It's
the trees pulling Homer apart is kind of like a cool visual bit, but they're replaying the Spider Pig music, and they're just sort of, like, retreading that old territory.
Yeah, they're getting high on their own meme, which isn't a meme yet.
Definitely. But the tagline for this movie that is on Letterboxd at least is, see our family and feel better about yours. That does not feel like The Simpsons to me.
No.
That feels like Married with Children.
Yeah.
There is a deep dislike for like Homer and The Simpsons, like in that line that to me just feels completely against what the show is supposed to be.
And The Simpsons has always been a reflection of life. Like you go,
Yeah.
you see people, it's based on Matt Groening's fucking family growing up. It's like you see elements of your own family in there. You see that dynamic. The other tagline of the movie, I think, is the worst tagline any film has ever had.
Oh, shit.
Which is, for years, lines have been drawn, ... and then colored in yellow. Yeah, worst tagline ever. Worst tagline
Worst
of any
tagline
movie.
ever. Just quickly on the Spider Pig choral version, apparently that was Hans Zimmer just doing that for a goof. And it was like apparently a month or two before the movie was meant to be released. He was like, oh, I had the choir and some extra time, so we whipped up this and gave it to The Simpsons. It was like, yeah, throw it on the soundtrack or something. And they're like, oh my God, this is perfect for the hallucination epiphany scene.
Wow.
And yeah, so that was just Hans Zimmer having a little Spider Pig goof.
Wow, Hans Zimmer did the music for this
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, staff Simpsons composer, arranger Alf Clausen, wasn't asked to do the movie. They
Danny
hired-
Elfman?
Danny Elfman, what about him?
Oh, he only did the theme. He like,
But surely they go give him a shot for the big leagues of a movie.
Yeah.
I
I mean, he'd get residuals.
It's actually crazy they got someone of equal standing to do it and not Danny Elfman. That is crazy to me.
that is a good point.
Would have been
Like-
a very awkward moment, assuming that all these famous composers, have like Christmas together. So you're just like sitting there, it's like, so I hear you got the Simpsons movie, Hans. How's that going? It's like, oh, quite good, Danny.
Oh,
Must
God.
I just got Klaus to write it
It's
again.
a very simple-
Yeah, and Alf Clausen they fired about 8 years ago or something like that. And yeah, now it's Hans Zimmer's company, Bleeding Fingers Music or whatever it is, that, does The Simpsons now.
Wow.
The show, yeah.
Bleeding from the razor blade he used on the cello in the Dark Knight
my
little cinema.
goodness.
Ouch.
You know when Aragorn kicked that helmet, he actually broke his...
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
man.
Oh my
That's why
gosh.
it's in the film? No way.
And just quickly on Spider Pig as well, one of the funniest parts of the credits of this movie to me is all the credited writers for the Spider Pig theme.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Jesus Christ.
Like, how did this thing that like is mostly the Spider-Man lyrics require all 12 writers basically?
Look, I mean, on one hand, yes, I agree, because it is a parody, and that's very easy to do. On the other flip of that, you and I have written romantic rom-com web series Dave Plus One, and for that, there's like the main title theme that does have about 4 different writers, even though it's 10 seconds long.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
it was like someone changed like 2 words, but that technically is enough to be like, okay, we have to credit you because you did actually make a significant contribution.
You were
Yeah,
in the room
so-
and you said the same things to
Yeah.
me.
So on the one hand, like it's still because it's again Spider Pig, and someone's like, what next? Does whatever. A fat pig does? No, Spider Pig. Oh, duh, of course. But that's I can halfway say it. We'll put
like
it that way.
huge black bags under all of their eyes,
Yeah.
like 6 coffee cups sort of spilled on the table,
Right.
just like,
We've
who
been here all
fucking
night.
wrote this?
But just quickly to divert, Spider Pig fever, like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
it is the
Right.
one element that I got over very quickly. It's
Yeah.
like, and that's back in the day where you could like
I
text in to get your Spider Pig ringtone and
I
shit like that.
remember there being a group on Facebook that was like, if I get 10,000 likes, my wife will let us call our baby Spider Pig.
Oh, Jesus
That was
Christ.
that
Good
era.
Lord. It
Yeah.
was huge. And then the animated Spider-Man movie has a Spider Pig in it.
Yes.
Well, that
Was
already existed, I think.
was
Really?
that already existed?
Yeah, what is it? Peter Porker? Yeah.
Peter
Oh,
Porker,
wow.
which in my head, I just in my head went, oh yes, John Hamm. It's like, for fuck's sake.
John Mulaney playing
Look,
Spider Ham. Or John Hamm
Very
for sure.
funny if John Hamm played him in like live action or something.
Yeah. But what were you saying, like across the Spider-Verse movie, they had like this Spider Pig in it or that?
No.
No, just Peter Porker.
Peter Porker.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, because of all their like multiverse shit. Yeah, if
I'm
they
pretty
just
sure
had
that
a-
already
I
existed.
think they did themselves a favor by forgetting this movie happened.
Fair enough. How about you, Alexei? What would you like to change about this movie?
Oh, it's tough because it's all the little things that we've
Yeah.
suggested already. It is like it's a different movie. It's not just like a quick fix or do something different. It's like, no, you have to do everything different.
Yeah.
What would I change about this movie? I guess, chop it into 3 episodes and don't put it in the cinema. Yeah.
Do what Futurama did.
Yeah, exactly. Release it on DVD a year later. That's better. No, I don't know. I think it's just do most of it different. Like you got to recalibrate the balance, make it more heartfelt, more small, more everything.
Yeah.
Because every suggestion that we're giving is like, make it this, make it that. It's just like, no, this is just the wrong thing to do. It's not bad per se, but it's like, do it different.
To put it in your niche, because I think like they've done famously fantastic parody versions of, Cape Fear, The Shining. Is there another sort of like, cinematic landmark that they could have riffed on to make this work?
Well, for this, I think, because I do think the Simpsons parodies of films and filmic genres are really nice. More so if they go like a road movie. I don't know. There's something in that where if you have to leave Springfield, make it the Simpsons are exploring America or something like that, and we get to see the Simpsons interact with other things. Like I don't know this. That's the first instinct I have, because also I think that keeps it. A road movie keeps the journey big, which can make it cinematic, but then it also kind of keeps the stakes at a level that we are comfortable with a family story of the Simpsons taking place in.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if they just go, we're going to make fucking Little Miss Sunshine. Yeah. And Grandpa Simpson dies and, like, he actually dies. Like, something like that. If you go, actually, well, what can we do with these characters? What's something that we can do that will have a lasting impact in our show? Let's give them a really poignant, beautiful, emotional story that goes for 90 minutes that will give you a lot of the emotional stakes that one is not seeking when you sit down to watch TV at home when your parents are cooking you dinner and you're about to go eat dinner with them or whatever. I think it's like, what can we deliver them that is a meaningful emotional experience that people go to the movies for? Like, people watch cartoons and cry in the cinema, Like, I think go for that.
No, I mean, well, to reference the shirt that I'm wearing again for the people watching, I got my Powerline shirt on, and that was what they did for the Goofy movie. They had the Goof Troop show, and for the Goofy movie, they went on this big road trip, and like their friends Pete and whatever Pete's kid was tagging along the way as well. Like, and you can have those sort of adventure moments and get the stakes of going off a waterfall and those cliches and the template's totally there to do that sort of thing. I think for me what I'd change is, and it's just kind of the timing thing where at this era of the show they were so into doing the jerk-ass Homer comedy, like I think it's like a fundamental fault of the movie that this is just the era that they were making Homer in, that this was his character type, so... 10 years earlier it'd be nice for that. But again, just to bring it back to the Dome, I think there's so much more interesting stuff with the town of Springfield going through this, being cut off from the rest of the world, and Mad Max Dissension and fucking Mose the all-knowing emperor and everything. Like, there is just so many more fun scenes that...
Keep the Simpsons in the Dome. Like, keep them in Dome Springfield, so we see that. Make it Red Dawn. They got to take over the government. That's cool.
I was going to say the Mad Max version would have been great, but no, Red Dawn for sure.
Red Dawn, then it turns into Mad Max slowly over the course of the film.
Red Dawn, and you've got, like, your Rainier Wolfcastle. Rainier Wolfcastle as the, like, the Eastern European villain archetype. Like, that would have worked perfectly.
I think that's it. Keep them in the... That's the easiest change. If you want the fucking Dome, keep the Simpsons in the Dome. Homer Simpson, we've got it.
All right. Well, I think it's time for our final notes.
How do I do this cinematically?
Now it's time.
Now it's time for our final notes, Hans Zimmerman.
I was going to say Hans Zimmer just wrote that as a joke, actually. That was just...
So we'll go around the circle. Any parts of the movie you want to mention before we move on to the rankings? I'll start off with just a bit of extra trivia. Apparently, this was also originally pitched as Simptasia. Matt Groening wanted to do a Fantasia Simpsons movie.
Would have been better.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
That's a big swing. But hey.
And then
different animation styles, different stories. That's beautiful.
I would have loved that as well. And then that was compromised to, okay, this is going to be a musical. And then apparently in the writing, the songs got shorter and shorter and shorter to the point that they just didn't exist.
It just
anymore.
became Spider-Pig.
We whittled it down to our best song. BT.
So when they leave, after Abe has his vision and they leave, they roll him up in a rug and leave, and they say, Homer just has a line of, "Oh, look, we love him. We got a free rug."
Yeah.
I got an early chuckle from me.
I really hate the dimensions of that bit, though. Like, the rug looks so much smaller than Grandpa's head. I just, that's always bugged me.
I just don't like the lack of verisimilitude in this cartoon, you know?
It's two-way. How about you, Alexei? Any other?
I reckon Dave go before me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I did think the worst day of your life so far was a very,
classic.
very good line. And
Yep.
then best kiss of your life so far was a good payoff for a bad character who didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that they predated Black Mirror and predicted Boris Johnson because Homer wants to fuck that pig.
Oh, yeah, that moment is like...
Maybe we should kiss to break the tension.
Yeah.
Wait, it wasn't Boris Johnson. It was another prime
It was
minister.
another Boris
Dave
Johnson.
Cameron?
It was David
Yeah.
Cameron. Thank you so much. But like, Bojo would have fucked a pig for sure.
Of course, he is one.
Julie Kavner
They
saying
kidnapped the Queen's daughter or whatever? No, I didn't know about that.
Julie Kavner also predicting her own future and saying the line, "It's aged me horribly."
Yeah, brutal
Gutting.
shit.
When they jump out of the car or whatever and say Geronimo and Sacagawea, that's a gag that is in Return of Jafar. Yep, that is a thing the genie says. They have
really?
taken that exact gag.
And that is Dan Castellaneta as the genie in
Shit,
that
it is
movie.
too. There you go.
So he is to blame. We know who should be sued.
I've been saying it.
So, yeah, another bit of fun trivia is that for the first screening of the Simpsons movie, they put out a competition because there are actually a lot of Springfields in America.
Oh, yeah.
And they put it out right in, pitch your Springfield to us to host the premiere. And I'll show a little picture here. Let's see if you can guess the winning state just from the picture there from the screening.
Oh my God! Cool, Vermont.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Hey.
Bernie Sanders with Maggie.
Yep.
Hot damn.
Bernie
That is
Sanders.
a big baby. That's a huge ass baby.
Yeah, so Bernie Sanders was at the Simpsons movie very first premiere.
That's awesome.
Of course he was,
'Cause,
because
yeah,
he is boots on the ground, grassroots.
And so all the anti-government stuff, it was him. He
Yeah.
consulted on those jokes.
Yeah. Vermont put in the pitch to host the screening and they won. And yeah, there's Bernie Sanders at the fucking premiere.
Everybody else just wrote to the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed Ralph Wiggum saying, "Oh no, blowback." I like that.
Another
Bubbles.
good dome rebound joke.
And I thought Tom Hanks' cameo was great.
Oh, yeah,
I
I did
really
quite
enjoyed
like
that.
Oh, yeah. The other guest star for
The US
this.
government has no more credibility, so they're borrowing some of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if you see me in the street, please stay away.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great little cameo there. And yeah, the other guest stars as well. I found this interesting about Green Day. I've been a fan of the band for a long time, but they used their real names in the credits here.
Yeah.
I didn't know Mike Dirnt wasn't his real name. It's Mike Pritchard.
No.
And yeah, Trey Cool, that's not his real name. Frank Edwin.
What?
Frank Edwin Wright III is the drummer
Wow.
of Green Day's real name, but Billy Joe Armstrong is his real name.
Yeah.
That was the one that I'm like, surely that's the made
That's
up
the
one.
I
Surely
want to
it's
see the-
William Joseph.
William Joseph, I wanted to see the birth
I was about to
certificate.
say, we started talking about
Green
the
Day
birth
birth.
of music movement, and we're back.
And also in the same scene with Tom Hanks, Phil Rosenthal gets a little cameo.
Huh?
Yeah, he plays the dad in that that little video thing for the new Grand Canyon. Yeah.
Oh, right.
And because that's apparently one of the 12 writers, I'm not sure which one, was working on Everybody Loves Raymond, and he goes, I need some time off for this. And he's like, oh, maybe I'll sneak you in like a visual cameo. And he's like, a line would be nice. And so that's why Phil Rosenthal's in this.
But the line there is like the new Grand Canyon. It's next to nothing, and it never was.
But also actors that recorded dialogue that were cut from the movie were the aforementioned Edward Norton doing a Woody Allen impression. Minnie Driver was also meant to be in this. Al Isla Fisher
Wow.
also got cut from this. The real Erin Brockovich, not Julia
Yeah.
Roberts. Erin
All right.
Brockovich was originally in
Wow.
this movie.
And
And
environmentalism, sure.
And Kelsey Grammer as well. Sideshow Bob was meant to be driving the plot a lot more, but again, cut.
I'm so curious about all this cut stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of fun on our other Patreon exclusive show, DVD and Extras, pouring over the Simpsons
yeah.
extras.
Let's
Simpsons
go.
movie extras. But until then, BT, any other notes?
Oh, yeah, plenty more. Let's see. There's a bit where Milhouse says something about caring about the environment. Then Nelson comes up and says, say global warming is a myth. He's like, it is. And then he gets punched. He goes, that's for selling out your beliefs.
Yeah, I love that. Paired with that other line you mentioned later on where it's like, oh, Colin's dead. Like, yeah, Milhouse gets a couple of good ones in this.
Yeah.
Movie,
And just when Lisa first meets Colin, she kind of has a giggle and falls down. It's like, that's very cute.
Again, there's not much to that love story, but Yardley is really carrying it. And again, Tress MacNeille, one of my favorite voice actors of all time. Like, I'm really glad they didn't stunt cast this kid either. Like, they got it in-house with Tress, and she does a fucking ripper job.
It should have been The Edge, dude. It should have been The Edge.
It's not Bono. He's right. It's not Bono. Look,
A voice we can all recognize as a cameo.
That would have been a good joke.
He's wearing a beanie. We know it's him.
It's him. He animated his own beanie.
brought one from home. Yeah, okay, so look, we've talked a lot about penis, but there's one more of just when, Flanders is saying grace and say, thank you for this bountiful, and then Bart smacks into the window, penis, and the kids say, bountiful penis.
Amen.
It felt like it needed to be said.
In that moment as well, okay, so Bart gets handcuffed outside, and I do like the gag with Nelson laughing at him, and then his mum comes along, what are you doing? But yeah, time has passed a long time. So when Bart first smacked up against and, pressed his penis against that glass wall of fast food, bountiful penis, they were starting their meal.
Yeah.
And so how long have the Flanders been fucking eating at that restaurant for that, now it's sunset.
They eat very daintily, I don't know. Have to bless each fry.
Sure. Grace for each fry.
Yep.
I was going to say that, one of my favorite things about this movie was one of the reviews of the movie where reviewer Ian Nathan from Empire called this film New Coke, which I think is an extremely good...
Well,
Oh, that brings me to mind, though, as well, which is the lasting artifact for me around this movie is also another review, which has been stuck in my head for a long time because I think it's one of my favorite film reviews ever.
Yeah?
Which is... When this film was released, it was reviewed by my two heroes, David Stratton and Margaret Pomeranz.
Classic.
And it is, I think, one of their finest hours.
Is that the thing you sent?
That is something that I've sent you, which
Oh
is...
my
Let's
God,
go.
Alexei, I was trying to find the video or anything of this. I found the transcription on Letterboxd, and I was going to confirm with you, is that a parody account? Is this a joke?
That is a real account, and I also found that transcription.
Yeah.
And I have gotten me as Margaret Pomeranz and my friend Zachary Rowan as David Stratton to read the transcript for you.
Oh my God.
I recorded this for you at 5 p.m. yesterday, moments before I watched the movie.
Fantastic.
So I have that for you. If you want to play it, I've got it. It's there for you
fucking
now.
go.
Oh my God, I was going to get you and David Molloy to do.
No, this is better. Go with this.
Oh, thank you.
After 18 years and over 400 episodes on television, there are very few people on Earth that can fail to be aware of The Simpsons. And now we have The Simpsons Movie. Although in a clever, knowing little sequence at the beginning, we're asked why we would pay to see something that we can get at home for free. In the movie, Lisa is an active environmentalist, while Homer, the lazy slob that he is, dumps pig poo in the local lake, causing a catastrophe that threatens the nation. While Springfield is sealed off from the world, Homer and family manage to escape to Alaska. Like the television series, the value of The Simpsons Movie is in the detail. When it delves too far into plot, as with the Alaska sequence, the momentum flags. I liked Bart cozying up to born-again neighbor Ned Flanders because he wants a real dad. Homer's relationship with his newly acquired pet pig, and I especially like the sequence in President Schwarzenegger's office. He was elected to lead, not read, as he picks one of the options for Springfield at random. This, as I said, is a very knowing, self-aware cinema experience. Fans of the series will love it. And even if you're not familiar with this particular dysfunctional family, there's plenty to enjoy. David.
Well, Margaret, you'll be amazed to hear I've never watched The Simpsons.
You're a Simpsons virgin.
I'm a Simpsons virgin. I mean, I've heard about it. Friends of mine have been urging me to see it for years, and I'm sure they're right, but I just never got round to it.
Oh, for goodness sake.
So it all came as very fresh to me, and I thought it was extremely funny. I loved this family and all their quirks. I loved all the, as you say, very knowing references to current events and so forth.
Yeah.
And all the detail, I think, is very skillfully done. I like...
Well, it's meant to be a seditious series.
Yes, well, clearly it is, and I enjoyed Tom Hanks' appearance.
A little cameo.
As a rather dull actor. But I noticed that the animation, which is drawn, not computerized animation this time, was done in Korea. So that's another kind of interesting element to this. It's very beautifully animated, I think.
Yes, no, look, I think they're clever. I think they're clever writers. Yeah.
And I always love that.
It's very well written, and as I say, it's consistently funny, and for me, very fresh.
And what are you going to give it?
I'm giving it 4. I loved it.
I can't believe that you, a Simpsons version, are giving it more than me. 3.5.
So good.
I think it's
Mind blown.
Thank you.
It's the funniest review because you're hearing two of the great intellectuals of this country discuss The Simpsons, especially our greatest cinema expert, David Stratton, never having come across them before. But just to talk about them for the first time is so funny to
Punch
me.
cards
I
of
thought-
every movie that's ever been made and has just not caught an episode of The
know.
Simpsons. I like this quirky little family.
I thought he would have hated it. I'm like, that's a stunner for me. Wow.
That's so funny.
May I say as well, your Margaret Pomeranz does have a distinct Julie Kavner flavour.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's how I access it. But also listening back to it, go, God, whenever I'm reading it, makes me laugh so much. I can't get my own. Like I kept on breaking for
You're
it.
still focusing better than Zach, though.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's because both of us go, this is the funniest review. There's a few reviews that I would say are extremely funny. That's my favorite one because I think it's so wacky. And it's
but like
always,
wacky by not being wacky in the slightest.
Yeah.
and I would say that review has stuck in my head for so
real.
long. It has influenced my humor
It is perfection.
for a long time. When Cam James and I used to do a podcast together, Total Reboot, we often would talk about The Simpsons. We would do so as people that, my good take would be people that don't know that the TV series exists, but we know the movie.
Yeah.
And it was always based on David Stratton talking about The Simpsons movie because I thought it was so funny to just be like, oh, I've heard it's good, but this is a really good movie. I might check out the series one day.
Yeah.
Let's get them as guests.
Oh, man. Imagine.
Show David Stratton some season 30
Hell yeah.
Simpsons.
What are they doing these days?
Well, yeah, I guess we haven't mentioned it all. Yeah, Alexei, yours and Zach's show, Refused Classification. I've seen it twice now. It's such a wonderful show where you guys are adopting the characters of Margaret and David to tell the story
Or
about...
Market, if you want to say it shorter. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still so excited. That was such a delight. But the idea that, because they're standing up to Australian censorship and screening of the movie Ken Park. The idea that maybe the Simpsons movie could also get censored and Margaret standing up to show Bart's dick.
Yeah, just holding it up.
Delighting me
Release the
endlessly.
stick cut.
Oh, to hell with it, holding up a printed thing.
Zach and I did say that because
This is a bountiful penis, and it is part of cinema history.
Zach and I did say after reading that review together that we're going to do like a one-off maybe next year as well. And if you go at the end, you go, wait, you guys want more? And then just do that review as an encore. I'm going to do one more review.
That's your post-credits scene.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Those listening out there that can, make sure you go check out Alexei and Zach's show, Reviews Classification, for its encore screening. But there's not many more of those.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think they're
it.
sold out. Yeah.
We sold out Melbourne. We've got, God, it's pretty soon. It's like we've got a few tickets left in Sydney and a few tickets left in Canberra.
All right. Oh, we're getting to time here. We got to speed through. Any more notes, guys?
I mean, of course I got more, but if we're speeding through, I'm going to read them all anyway. Bit where Homer sees, the pig and just says, then he says, a pig wearing a hat, and just, you can't kill it for wearing people clothes. And then when he brings it home and gets Marge to laugh, he goes, you smiled, I'm off the hook.
Yep, that's delightful. And the little sequence with the turtles happy together, that's cute. Apparently, test audiences loved the pig.
Yep.
The evidence is in the movie.
Maybe make that the tagline. Test audiences love the pig.
Bountiful penis. There's a bit where, the dome is first coming down, and I like that everyone in church runs out and goes to Moe's, and everyone Moe's runs out and goes to church.
Yep.
Like, that was a good little dick.
It feels like a New York Times cartoon. Like
Yeah.
that level of political cartoon,
Yeah. A bit where everyone's trying to break into the Simpsons house, and their hands are just poking through, and Homer's like, get back, I've got a chainsaw. Bam, 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 bam. And but then then all the hands retreat, but then all the eyes replace, and he's like, bam, bam.
Yeah, I popped pretty hard for that joke, yeah.
That was funny. there's a bit where they're on the run and like a police car pulls up in front of where they're staying, and Marge is like, oh God, play it cool. And these two officers just get out, walk towards her, divert, go into an alleyway and start making out.
There were a number of gay jokes that were like, I don't know how you're trying to frame this. They feel innocent enough.
This one feels like, okay, that's just a good misdirect. I didn't see that coming.
Apparently that was censored in Singapore, but not Bart's dick.
Wow. Really?
The Singapore cut still has Bart's dick, but no making out police officers.
Did they cut Ralph Wiggum saying, I like men now? That was a better Ralph Wiggum than I thought it was going to be.
I was so impressed by that.
Nancy Cartwright.
So they'll censor a pig, but not a hog, I see. Okay, their wedding video has birds suddenly appear. That's a nice bit of continuity.
But they have everyone attending the wedding, which is not continuity.
I know. Look, Homer and Marge's wedding has changed multiple times, but at least birds suddenly appear stays throughout the series, so that's nice.
Beautiful song.
That's why they taped over the wedding video, is so that they didn't have that like evidence of continuity.
Yep. Homer with the sled dogs, and he's like, run, jump, jump, land, rest. Like, okay, that was pretty fun. There's a bit where Homer gets back to the dome and he's kind of spying, but he's just got his hands over his eyes like binoculars, but it keeps cutting to like binocular vision anyway.
Yeah, see, that was like a really good run of jokes for me where Homer trying to get back into the dome and he's got like, he goes up to that guard, he's got, I got a note from the president. And he's like, why is it written on a leaf? Takes him out and then ticks that off a checklist that's also written on a leaf.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then with the wrecking ball bit where it just tinks the police van that the rest of the Simpsons are in, and then the kids go, what was that? I think it was a moth. And then Marge just goes, oh, I hope it's okay.
It's a very Marge thing, yeah.
Did you have any other notes, Molloy?
I had a bunch, but I think like a lot of them were kind of just things that I noted as being kind of bummers, so I'm not going to like linger on them for too long. But there were definitely like a bunch of those, this was written in 2006 kind of jokes, and like, you know, the weird outlandish police brutality of like handcuffing a naked 8-year-old to a telegraph pole.
And they shoot at him.
I did enjoy the line, one of the cops says, look, no one likes wearing clothes in public. That's a good line.
That's the law.
I loved Russ Cargill saying, I don't benefit from this. Well, I own the company that makes the dome. I enjoyed Eskimos.
Yeah.
I hated Grand Theft Walrus so much. There were a bunch of big Corona
Happy
jokes.
Feet in this one. George Miller's own.
I liked the polar bear just kicking the dog as it walked off.
That was good.
Yeah, and I think there was that. I had like one of those cracked articles pop up in my Facebook feed of like, you know, here's 30 cartoon tropes that have been retired for being either just offensive or outdated or just not very funny anymore. A couple of them popped up here. One of them being the like suicide being funny, and the whole like, here's the bomb tech robot shooting itself, and Wiggum being like, I heard him talking about it, but I didn't know he's serious. It's like, this is weird.
Yeah,
like, I don't know if
that
it
was
lands.
a reference to another movie that Vince D'Onofrio was in or something. Fuck. What was
Metal
it?
Jacket?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
The Cell?
In the sense that someone...
Men in Black?
Oh, yeah, that's right. The bomb tech wanted sugar water.
Yeah.
Look, it's grim, but I actually kind of liked, we talked before, Smithers is like, everything's gone, and Burns is like, look, I don't believe in suicide, but maybe you could try it and see if it cheers me up.
Yeah, I did laugh at that one.
Yeah. Disliked Maggie going, sequel?
Yeah. Oh, so lame.
But mid-credits, I do like they start, I'm assuming it got cut from the movie, they start singing Springfield's national anthem, which is about how they don't have one because they paid some guy, but he left.
Yeah, again, that was another cut scene from the movie that, the Springfield Town Anthem was one of the last remaining songs, but got cut in the end.
Yeah, but I at least like the song, and they kept it in some form.
Yep. All right, I think it's time to rank this thing. So on the Simpsons Index, we rank using a 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. Maybe if the movie was just meh, you give it a participant. But for the positive rankings, you got okay bronze, good silver, excellent gold, but for the best of the very best, you give cubic zirconia. I'm going to go first. Let me show you how it's done. I struggled with this one because I really don't know. But look, I think I'm going to default to a silver because that's like the nicest take I can give it. I don't love the plot of this thing, but there's a lot of the jokes that carry me through. And all in all, I'm like, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot better, but it could have been a lot worse. Silver, BT.
I'm going to go with a bronze. Look, there's nothing like... One thing we haven't talked about, this moves at a nice clip. I don't think there's ever a point where I get bored or I feel like it lags. I literally think it's even in the Margaret and David review where they're just like, it keeps its pace. It gets a little laggy around Alaska, but not by much. So look, for an entertaining watch that, if you focus on the jokes and don't think about it too hard, there's a good time to be had.
David?
I think the comparison to the South Park movie absolutely kills us dead in the water. But yeah, it made me laugh a couple of times. I think there's strengths there, and definitely the wedding video moment, puts it a cut above. So I give it a shameful bronze.
All right. And Alexei, please finish it off.
I'm at bronze too. Probably yesterday would have been participant, but I think thinking about the stuff that I liked about the movie, it's nice. I give it up bronze. Soft bronze, a little bit tarnished bronze. I'll go tarnished bronze.
I did happen to see your Letterboxd review because I had been inspired recently by your podcast to do a Letterboxd account for Starring Springfield, so you can follow us on there as well, and we'll do the updated movies review. But yeah, I did see you give it a little 2.5 star on Letterboxd.
I might go up to a 3. I might.
Yeah, okay.
I might go change history today.
I'm going to sit
Go
on
up
a
to
2. And I didn't write my Letterboxd review because I didn't want you to read it before.
And I will say, I did see your When Lisa Met Billy review, and that was such a fucking funny line, is that this is one of the lamest things I've ever seen, and I saw a dad in 2013 perform stand-up to bomb in stand-up, and his son was in the crowd.
Yeah, that's I think it ties for the lamest things I've ever seen.
Holy shit.
The Billie Eilish episode of The Simpsons, and a guy wear rainbow suspenders and bomb in front of his son at an open
Oh,
mic.
wow. Beautiful
His
horror.
teenage son as well, I'll add.
Oh my God.
Sorry to butcher your review there, but, but Alexei, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. What a blast. And
Oh.
thank you for letting me have an excuse to watch the Simpson movie.
Yes,
Oh.
but you're not getting away that easily. For you see,
Oh,
we have
yes.
one final question.
Bring
for
down the
you.
dome.
You live here now. No. So we like to ask our first-time guests, if you could have a sandwich named after you, what would be on that sandwich? Or just to simplify the question, if that's too hard, what's the best sandwich?
The best sandwich.
But if I'm ordering the Alexei Toliopoulos,
Wow.
what am I getting?
Good Lord. What do I make at home a lot? I probably would say I love pickled onions, so that
Okay.
would be a little bit something. Maybe an agrodolce instead,
know what
something
that
like
is,
that.
but
So
all
it's
right.
like a sweet, sour kind of pickle type thing,
Okay.
usually Italian. So I would say my favorite sandwich to make at home is bocconcini, tomato, really nice, beautiful, has to be beautiful tomato, salt and pepper on that,
Yeah.
and pickled onion, basil leaves, and olive oil.
Damn.
Lovely.
That would be a
That's
nice,
good.
elegant sandwich on a lovely piece of bread. Like
I
it
was
would
going to say
have to
that
be.
is elegant is a good word for that.
It has to be really nice, crusty bread, or
Yeah.
really 2 beautiful slices of sourdough, something like that.
Yeah,
It's
hey.
nice to not
yeah.
feel like I'm the token Mediterranean on the show anymore.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That would be that's my go-to sandwich at home.
Yeah, what did we watch recently where it's like you got to hear the sound of the bread and it's like
Ratatouille.
Oh, it was in Ratatouille, yeah.
You can listen
that's it.
now on at patreon.com/SideQuest Studios. Brad Bird watching.
Yep, and the flip of that, did you check out Molloy sandwich already, or?
No, I thought we already did we not revisit his? I thought we did.
I don't think so, no.
Let's just read it out. And find
Would
it.
you still order this sandwich? Club sandwich with fake meat, chipotle sauce, and potatoes.
Real meat. Otherwise, keep it the same.
What meat? Chicken is traditional, but would you go crazy?
Chipotle. I mean, I'm always down to clown. Like, if you
Wow.
want to...
Clown meat?
Yeah, clown meat.
Oh my God.
It tastes funny.
Hey!
The actual legit crusty burger. Yeah.
Think smaller. Think more legs.
So, Alexei, where would you like to direct people to?
Please listen to my podcast and YouTube show, The Last Video Store, where I talk to cool people about their favorite movies. We were talking before the Philippou brothers just came on. That was a blast.
Yeah.
When is this coming out?
Next week. Yeah.
Oh, Michael Shanks, the director of Together, will be on. Hilltop Hood's coming up very soon as
okay.
well. And Marlon Williams is on the episode
Damn.
coming out this week.
Wow.
Dang.
Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely adore this podcast. I was texting you recently, loved the Killing Heidi episode. And,
Oh, thank
they're
you.
good boys.
and yeah, the Philippou brothers as well. I love the energy that they were bringing. I'm so keen to check out their new flick.
Oh, it's scary as fuck.
It's a
You'll be
fucking
very
belter,
scared
yeah.
and upset by it.
Yeah.
yeah. And you and Kane talking about horror movies. My watch list has increased a lot now.
Oh, thank you very much. That was so fun hanging out with Kane, talking about some probably a bit underappreciated Australian horror films. Good
Yeah.
recommendation list.
Wonderful. And BT, where would we like to direct people?
I mean, we've plugged it a few times already. Patreon.com/SideQuest Studios. We can get over 200 exclusive podcasts covering a range of things like, say, DVD and extras, which we mentioned, or Starring Springfield, which we mentioned, where we review movies that star the cast of The Simpsons, or Brad Bird Watching, which we mentioned, where we review
all these organic plugs that we snuck
just
in.
so naturally. But there's even more than that. There's so much, it's crazy. But hey, if you're like, well, I'm a stingy miser, I'm not going to spend any money, you can just check out Starring Springfield on the free feed. It's several months behind, so, but hey, if you like being drip-fed premium content, I'm running out of words, it's weird.
It's a big review.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also if you sign up to the Patreon, you get to be the one to suggest the movies that we review for Starring Springfield. So go check that out, patreon.com/SideQuest Studios. But for now, that's been the Simpsons Index and Starring Springfield's review of the Simpsons movie. Once again, thank you very much, David.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alexei.
You're welcome.
And thank you, BT.
Bountiful penis.
And I've been your host, Elliot J. O'Neill. That's all the mustard in the movie theatre. We're out of the house now.
Thank you for listening to the Simpsons Index podcast, which is also an online spreadsheet available at thesimpsonsindex.com. We're also on social media. You can follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, and on Threads. Links for all that and more are down in the show notes. And lastly, consider giving us a 5-star review. Why not? We'd do it for you. Now, there's no bonus scenes for this episode. Everything we left in was pure gold, so we'll catch you next time.